Hi everyone. Hi. Hello. How are we? It's Monday. I'm Matsy. It's time for a fucking another Matsy Monday. Whoa, whoa. Wish it was Sunday. Fucking Sunday. So, don't you feel like today was the first day, anyway, in England, that felt truly that everything was back to normal? Well, I looked out window this morning, absolute carnage on the roads, darkish outside, grey, breezy, cold, kids going to school, puddles on the floor, no restrictions. COVID seems like a bad memory. It just felt like everything to me was back to normal today. I don't know about you. But I did a post the other day. I've been in the fire service for 20 years. I joined when I was 19, 2 days before September 11th attacks. And I feel like I've learned quite a lot, considering that I had literally no education whatsoever when I joined the fire service. And, you know, because I do these kind of videos and make podcasts like this, I thought, why not share some of the lessons that I've learned from being a firefighter? And hopefully it might help someone else. So here we are. Firefighters are funny guys. They're funny people. They think that me doing this is weird as fuck. They find it irritating, I think, quite a lot of the time. Firefighters are typically stubborn know-it-alls. They think they know everything. In fact, they're quite insecure, really, deep down. But they'd never admit to any of that stuff, and they'd never admit that they find me doing this kind of thing irritating. If I ever confront them, they'll always go, "Yeah, no, mate, it's great that you do that. I think it's great." And then they'll go back to the stations and have a little bitch about me, and I'm alright with that. It's all fun and games. Gives them some ammo for when we have banter, you see. But I can't even believe I even became a firefighter, to be honest. I always wanted to be one. I came from like a divorced family. As a teenager, in divorced families, you exploit the gaps between the parents. The parents could never know what you were always up to at all times. So I was very good at taking advantage of the gaps between each parent. And honestly, I really nearly took a different direction in life. I remember even it got pretty low at some points. I remember being sat in a council house in Buttershaw once, watching a guy take heroin, and I was like, I wanted some of his heroin, and I was saying, "Can I have some of that, mate?" And he luckily for me, because he takes heroin, he wanted it for himself. He said, "No, mate, you're not having any of this, but try, go ask someone else." And I think that point, I could have, if he'd have given me some, what might have happened? How susceptible to the addiction might I have been? It's like a sliding doors moment. And I were an agreeable person. I still am an agreeable person by nature. It's part of one of my personality traits is that I'm a very agreeable person. And when I were a kid, I got taken advantage of a lot, bullied, kind of, or I just got taken advantage of emotionally by people. People used to tell me that I'd amount to nothing, and I'd believe them. I'd agree with them. So when I got in the fire service, it was literally a peak in my entire life. Where I'm from, we all get a trade behind us. In working class towns like Bradford, get a trade behind you. Just learn a trade. So I became a painter and decorator straight after school. I've always been into fitness. I played rugby, so I think that knowing my way around a toolbox, having a pretty good level of fitness, helped me in getting into fire service. And I was just always really ambitious to progress in some way or another, no matter what I'm doing. So I think those three things really helped me. But then I think I was just lucky as fuck as well. I think we're just lucky. We don't realise how much luck plays a part in our life. We think that we're in control of everything. We don't choose his genes. We don't choose where we're born. We don't choose what kind of income we're born into. We don't choose what kind of education we get. We don't even choose most of our decisions. Our subconscious mind chooses it before we've even realised. You know, there was a massive amount of luck in becoming a firefighter, and there still is today. But anyway, enough of my ranting. 10 lessons that I've learned from being a firefighter. So here goes. Number 1, don't give in to other people's beliefs about you. So when I was at school, I wasn't a good student. I was naughty. Teachers, they liked me because I was cheeky, but I was hardly ever there. I used to play truant, and teachers thought I would amount to nothing. I remember telling my teacher once, I want to become a firefighter. And she said, sit back down, you're not becoming a firefighter. Anyway, I sat down and shut my mouth. But I didn't listen to him. I wanted what I wanted, and I was going to go after it. And I'm still like that now. So, but the problem is, as an agreeable person, like I was saying earlier, people used to tell me, you're not going to become a firefighter. And I used to think, no, maybe I'm not. I'll still try, but maybe I'm not. And even when I became a firefighter, the first couple of stations I were at, you got these old-timers basically emotionally bullying you, making themselves feel better by telling you that you're not good enough. I mean, I would never, and a lot of people my generation would never do that to someone who's new to something. But in the fire service, that was 20 years ago, that was a large part of it. People used to tell me, you shit. But I used to pass all the tests, but people would still say it to me. And because I was agreeable, I believed them in a way. And it's not until I've gotten older now I'm realised those guys were just emotionally weak little babies, saying that to a young boy like what I was. But I didn't know that at the time. So don't give in to other people's opinions and beliefs about you. Only one that matters is your own. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, you only need to be good enough at something, and then you can master something later on. So you don't have to be special to really become great at anything initially. You just have to be good enough. You have to be competent enough. And then once you get your foot in the door at anything, not just being a firefighter, at anything, then you can master a skill later on. So if you're not naturally gifted, that's fine. Just get yourself to a point where you're good enough, and then work your way in, and then develop the discipline to master something later on if you're not good enough at it. Number 3, repetition builds basics, and basics are all you need to become competent at anything. You might not get paid for everything in the world that you become competent at. If you want to become a competent footballer, you're not going to get paid. But repetition builds basics. And luckily for me, because I don't have a particularly good tape memory, i.e. I don't remember phone numbers, I don't remember people's names. My memory is like a sieve. I'm a very good lateral thinker, but I'm a very poor direct thinker. And what I've learned is that the way the fire service trains suits me perfectly, because it's about repetition of the basics. Repetition. So when the shit comes down and we're really struggling, let's just say we're in a very hot and smoky environment, your senses are all over the place because it's quite stressful. The basics are just in you already. You just default to doing the right thing because you've trained to do the right thing so much over and over and over again. And we follow this training program daily when we're at work. It's just about repeating the same basic things all the time. And it gets to a point where it just oozes out of you, sort of thing. So that's number 3. Number 4, group activity, team activities together matters for the strength of the whole team. So things like in the fire service, what I love, we're eating together. Eating, look, I don't work with any women, and I like working with women. I'm just not fortunate enough to be able to do that at the moment. It's just on my team, we're just all blokes. But eating with a group of blokes, just a load of men eating together, is ace. I just love it. There's something primal about it. I love a big group of people eating together. I can't tell you what the psychology is. It's just something really primal, but it's ace. Eating together. as a group is ace. Suffering together, sharing your problems from home, sharing the problems that you've got with each other, not worrying about being judged, just suffering together is important for your team ethic. Playing together, they say in our job, a team that plays together stays together. That's definitely true, playing together. One of the things that I love about my job, and I'm sure it's similar in most jobs, in all the emergency services I know it's the same, and especially in the army, the banter is ace. And it's really, really brutal, right? And I watched the Yorkshire Firefighters programme, which I felt quite proud of whilst I was watching it. But it's all, because it's on TV, and because the cameras are around, you can tell that they've not gone all in on the banter by any stretch of the imagination. They've just really kept it tame because they didn't want to say anything to offend anyone on camera. And you would, if they would have really filmed what it's like on a shift, the actual stuff that we say to each other, the actual jobs that we go to, the really sort of gruesome ones that are a bit upsetting, that's the fire service. Not the light-hearted, unoffensive stuff. That is not the fire service. The offensive stuff is, but they're never going to show that on TV because you always get some whiny little dickhead who gets easily offended and ruins it for everyone. So you're never going to see that side of the job, unfortunately. But banter's kind of become a little bit of a dirty word in corporations. It's become like a far left extremist tool to say that it's for bullying and stuff like that. But banter is important, especially when you're in a group setting, especially when you're in a physical group setting, like being a firefighter or a team. If you're a hunter, if you're hunting, you need to know that the person next to you isn't going to go to bits when you need them not to go to bits. When they're going to go to bits emotionally, just because you've said something, that is what you're trying to weed out by banter. And it might not be a nice thing to hear, but it's true. You don't want the person who you've got to rely on with your life going to bits emotionally because they can't handle something that somebody's fucking said. Do you know what I mean? So banter is important, and I love it. And you should too, and you need to understand why you love it. Number 5, catastrophic failures. So it doesn't just have to be in a fire, but I'm talking about firefighting here, but catastrophic failures, but it could be anything like a plane crash or anything like that, are usually because of a communication breakdown and lack of basics. Two really simple things: basics and communications. If you can get basics and the basics of what you're doing right, and your communication okay, you'll probably be all right in doing anything. If you get the basics wrong, that's laziness. You've just been lazy there. You need to go out of your way to build the basics through repetition, like we already told you. But lack of communication can either be because of naivety, because you're new and you've not got any experience yet, or it can be because of ego, and you think you're all that, and you're not that much, and you're not having a correct communication line because of your own ego, which is obviously awful. So catastrophic failures are usually because of communication or basics breakdowns. Number 6, if you're in a union, if you're in any kind of skilled work where there's a large group of you, you have to have a union, or you have to be in a union. Okay? Some kind of group strength you need, because otherwise you'll get taken advantage of by your employer. And just further to that, yes, cheers Ryan, you're right mate, hope you're well. So if you're in a union, the union's decision is more important than your personal opinion. So if you don't agree with what your union is saying, you still have to go with the union's decision, because they have the group's best interest at heart, and ultimately the group is all that matters. When you get people who break strikes, you see it on films. You see it on. There's lots of films. Billy Elliot's one I watched recently, which is amazing, by the way. There's a lot of striking going on in that. When someone breaks a strike, the reason why it's so divisive and it hurts the group so much is because of trust. If someone's selfish enough to put their own self-interest before the group's, that undermines the trust, which ultimately undermines the entire group. And you want your group to be as strong as possible so it can deliver the best service possible. Number 7, that's not number 7, that's number 4. Number 7, being out of your comfort zone hardens you to your discomfort. So nobody likes heights. You're not scared of heights. What you're actually scared of is dying. Nobody likes being confined in confined spaces unless you're snuggled up in bed. You know, they're not natural environments to be in. But the more that you put yourself in those environments intentionally, the more that you'll realise that it's not going to affect you and nothing's going to happen to you. You're not scared of heights, you're scared of dying. So put yourself up at height, look down, notice. It's just the same as being very close to the floor. Your brain is picking up a different image, but it's all the fear is created through stories that you're telling yourself. They don't exist. That's not what's really happening. What's really happening is you're in this moment right now. And it same goes with public speaking. You know, public speaking is meant to be the number one most feared thing to do. But the more you do it, the more you realise nobody gives a fuck about you, really. And all of these stories that you were telling yourself are just bollocks, and it don't really matter. And the more you do it, the less fearful you are of those things. So get out of your comfort zone. Number 8, there's value in being a really good cog in a bigger system. Okay? So what we're doing, what capitalism has kind of taught us, it's kind of good and bad. But ambition is good, right? Ambition is good because this is how we get growth and prosperity in the world. However, there's massive value in being a really good cog in a bigger system. Rather than let's say you're in a team and you're kind of like a standout. What I mean by being a good cog in a bigger system is you lead those people with your ability and you stay at the same level and you bring them on so that they all improve through your leadership, and then you move on if you really want to. But what capitalism teaches us usually is you get ahead and then you progress and you leave everyone behind and you move up and up and up and up. And the overall organisation never really gets stronger because it just keeps picking off all the best people. When in the fire service or in any large organisation, just being a really good cog. This is why Chinese are so good at what they do, because it's not all about them getting forwards. It's about me doing my job really well, so the whole team wins. And that is why China are going to become the next superpower. But the value of being a good cog within a bigger system is a powerful lesson. Number 9, many hands make light work. This is a small one, but I love it. When we finish eating our tea at home, everyone just walks off to watch telly. So we get round the dinner table, we're all chatting, and we're telling us stories about what we've done that day, me and my family. And then I'm like, whoa, we're all washing up and tidying up, and they're all going, no, we want to have us pudding, we want to sit down and chat, we want to watch TV, we'll come back and do it in a bit. I'm like, let's all muck in, and all of this work will be done in 2 minutes, because all of us doing one job at a time gets rid of it all straight away. So many hands make light work. Muck in, and there's much more rest time and downtime once the work's been done. Get the work done, you lazy bastard. And then number 10, last but not least, is you can't train experience. You can only experience experience. Experiencing things like what I do is very valuable, but experiencing anything is valuable. Experience, you can't buy experience. There's that old classic saying. And I'll leave you with a story. Old bull, young bull. Old bull and young bull are sat in a field, looking down, the sky's blue, and there's a large field down the valley of heifers chewing on the cuds of grass. And young bull says to old bull, old bull, look at those heifers down there. Look at all those heifers. Why don't we run down and shag them all? No, I just ruined it. He goes, old bull, look at all them heifers down there. Why don't we run down and shag one? And old bull looks at young bull and goes, why don't we walk down and shag them all, son? And that is old bull, young bull. We don't need to rush. Slow and steady wins the race. Basics. Guys, thanks for watching. I love you, and I'll see you later on. Bye.